You alright guys, how's it going? It is David Clayton from KZR Racing once again, and welcome back to my F1 Manager 22 career mode for round number 12 of Season 2 for the French Grand Prix. If you guys did miss the last episode, do feel free to check out my channel. The playlist will be there with all the other episodes before. A little bit of admin to get through. We've got the design for the chassis drag reduction coming in this episode, so we should be able to get that sorted out before France. We also have the results for the recent rule regulation change. We also have this one here, F1 in Schools World Finals. Can we count on your attendance? Attend, plus 100k, staff experience game pause for 7 days. Nah, I'm good on that one, thanks. I prefer the staff gaining. Austrian Grand Prix, cornering for Sebastian, 83, but we haven't got any points for Sebastian. Exceeding expectations again. Check flag. Right, rule regulation change. Okay, the fastest lap bonus has gone through. And it went to a tiebreaker, actually. Ferrari, Red Bull, Mercedes, obviously they would go for it. Williams went with it, and AlphaTauri went with it. I suppose AlphaTauri would with being Red Bull's sister junior team. And then the tiebreaker voted for. So, okay, we have the fastest lap point coming back next year. So that's that one done. But for now, that is the hospitality area done and the design for the chassis. So, hospitality area refurbished. Now, let's manufacture some of these. Alright, this is going to be a bit of a hit, but we need to get this done. We've got some money built up anyway, so it's not too much of an issue. So, those 4 chassis get done immediately. So now, we're going to change from number 2 to number 3. So now, a little bit more drag reduction should help us a little bit. I'm not expecting a massive change, but it should help us in the long run. The side pod upgrade should be in, that'll be completed by Friday practice. It's actually completed on Friday practice session before France, so. And then, what we got? Board performance review after Hungary. Research complete for the front wing. And then that's the week after is when the period resets at the end of the Belgian Grand Prix. So that seems to be all in order there. So our gearbox in poor condition for Pierre Gasly. So powertrain. For car 2, so he's got he's already going on to his 3rd engine now, so gonna need to think about that. Go on car 1. He's not much better, so for Sebastian, so that's now done. Gearbox as well, we need to change. I'm already on the last gearbox for Pierre as well. That's because he had a big crash earlier. Sebastian's still okay for the moment. And what are they like on ERS? Yeah, they're fine for the moment. So that's all good there. So now the side pod design is now complete. Okay, right, so race preview, race prep, side pod design complete. So let's have a look, see if we can get this. Oh, that's even better, we just got those done just in time. So, car 1, aerodynamics, side pods. Nope. Side pods change. Yep, we've also got them on We've also got the new side pods, so the drag reduction should be significantly better here. So that's worked out even better than I thought it would. So, race performance targets, reach Q2, qualifying position, fastest lap, and finishing position hot streak. Yep, that's all good. So, without further ado, let us go ahead into practice for the French Grand Prix. Okay, going into the practice one, we've already got heavy rain straight away for the first practice. So, for Jack, we're going to get him in place of Sebastian. And go ahead and simulate this first session, as we normally do. So next, Carlos Sainz is up top. We've got Verstappen, Leclerc and Stroll with penalties, along with Hulkenberg, and Gasly and Duran are only 14th and 17th. So certainly hope that's not a sign of things to come. So what we got? Oh, we've already got 63 and 58, so the setup shouldn't be too bad. So I'm going to tinker around with the setups, and then come back at the end of the third practice session if nothing happens in between, and hopefully we'll have a decent enough setup for both guys going into the race. Right, we're now at the end of practice 3. Not a lot to read in with the times in that, because I had a little bit of difficulty getting these guys, setups honed in. I've got them both up to 84, but that was the best I could do with what I had, with the time I had. So going into qualifying, we'll skip through. We'll do the usual. We'll skip through and see how where the guys end up on the grid. But the initial things that I've seen is I haven't had asked these guys to go all out yet. But the initial thing is the general pace is a little bit lackluster. But I'm hoping that's not the case as we go through qualifying. So let's go through and see where the guys end up for the Grand Prix. Okay, we're just coming up to the end of Gasly's Q3 lap. Vettel got knocked out in Q2, but he did qualify P12, which is an improvement on what he has been doing before. So far, Gasly is green in both sectors, is P8 at the moment. P7, hopefully, if he can get ahead of Magnussen as he goes to the line. Not quite, he stays P8, so not too bad, all things considering. I thought the pace would be a lot worse from what I saw in practice, but P8 for Gasly, P12 for Sebastian. Not too bad in all honesty. We have got Charles and Max with penalties, so I don't know if they're 10th place, then they're going to be back down here with Sebastian. Stroll's going to be starting at the back of the grid. Hulkenberg's going to be starting at the back of the grid as well, so it's going to be interesting for the race, guys. It's going to be interesting. So we'll see what we can do strategy-wise. Vettel's got a fresh set of soft tyres, whereas Gasly does not. But one stop seems to be the order of the day, as how things go on this one. Yeah, can't really do anything clever with that particular one stop, unless is it really worth it? I mean, no, that's not clever. Yeah, so yeah, pretty much just stick with standard one stop. Sebastian, he has got a set of soft tyres available, which helps, but yeah, I'm not going to do anything too fancy with either of them, so aside from, we're going to bump their fuel up, so we've got plenty to push with. Driving options, aggressive at the start, fuel usage, deploy, and do the same for Gasly. Bump the fuel up, driving options, aggressive, fuel usage, deploy. Yep, that's everything. So let's go to the grid for the French Grand Prix.
The drivers have now taken position on the grid, and it's looking like a cloudy day. And there we have Pierre Gasly. A top 10 position today, but will they be able to capitalize on it? And for the second driver, it's Sebastian Vettel. They'll be starting the race from the bottom half of the grid, so there's a fair bit of ground to make up. Everything's been building to this. And here we go. With
that green flag at the back of the grid, 5 red lights for the French Grand Prix.
And it's lights out.
And we are away.
Here we go.
So now Gasly hasn't got the best start. Unfortunately, Ocon's going to get alongside him. He hasn't. He's been struggling with his starts recently, Gasly. He's got one of the McLarens around the outside. Is he gonna? Oh, he's got both of them still on his case. We get to a different camera. Fortunately, he is going to pull ahead. So back to neutral. There's multiple cars that have crashed as well already. So I wonder if it's been into that same section. And oh no! I just saw Vettel's at the back of the grid. Is that involving Sebastian? There's Sebastian. Yes, it has involved Sebastian. And he's taken out Alonso. So Sebastian was one of those cars involved. And he's got a 5-second time penalty as well. But fortunately, from what I've seen, he doesn't appear... He doesn't have any damage, so... And he's not too far away from the grid, back of the grid, so... I think we can afford to at least keep... we can keep Sebastian out. So let's put these guys back down the stand because I don't want them cooking their tyres. So he's still with the back of the grid, as is Alonso, but I think Alonso's got to stop for damage. So if so Vettel should be faster than Williams and Hulkenberg ahead of him as well. So that's not going to be too much of a problem. Let's just look at Alonso. Can't see at the moment where his damage is. Okay, yeah, it's on the right-hand part of the front wing, so that's pretty much okay. Vettel is going to have to serve that time penalty at his next pit stop. That is a given. But early days yet, early part of the race, so we've already... actually, what tyres are everyone on? Okay, fair split between hard and... Yeah, there goes Alonso into the pits. Yeah, fair split between hard and medium. Sainz, the race leader, has started on the hards, with Perez directly behind him on the mediums, and Russell is on the hards as well. So they're doing the flip strategy with the guys at the back, whereas the rest of us are doing the standard strategy. So that's going to be... that'll be interesting to see where those two come out later on. At the moment, though, still early days yet, so we're going to leave until we get to the DRS period and then see what we can do with Gasly against Magnussen and Russell. Okay, DRS is active on this lap, so let's see what we can do. It is a bit of a DRS train, unfortunately, but we'll see what we can do with Gasly with these new drag reduction upgrades. There's a yellow flag in sector 1. There's Gasly. Is he going to go for the move? And it's Tsunoda who spun. I believe he was racing Sebastian. Yeah, he was. So Sebastian gets past, and
That's
No,
the spin.
Sonoda spun completely on his own. So now, as we go through the next series of corners, Gasly unfortunately did not get Magnussen. So let's get him back down to standard and neutral on his ERS. We're still all so close together at the front. Everyone in the top 10 is all within DRS of each other, primarily because Sainz, the leader, is backing everyone up, being on the hard tyres. So this early stage, if he can maintain this and keep holding everyone up, that's going to be more beneficial to him.
Use overtake.
Now Gasly is he's dropped a little bit away from Magnussen on the exit of that corner, so he's still at the DRS, so that's not too much of an issue. But now we got as we come up to this next section, let's get him on aggressive. I'm not going to play around with his ERS too much, especially while we're in a DRS train. I just want him to take the initiative and try and make a move if possible. But if the move's not on like it isn't now, I'm just going to back away and let him do what he needs to do. Perez, meanwhile, as we just cut away there, Perez did just get into the lead, and Hamilton is now alongside Sainz. Verstappen is alongside Sainz as well. This is going to be 3 wide down to the next corner. This isn't going to work, guys. This isn't going to work. They're going to make it work, though. Hamilton down the inside. He gets up into P2. Sainz trying his best to fight it, but ultimately has to concede. So now it's going to be a question where if Perez is going to pull away, or is Hamilton going to be able to stick with him? That's going to be the main question. Meanwhile, Sebastian is on the back of Mick Schumacher, trying to make up ground. Gasly is right behind Magnussen. Let's see if he can do anything. No, he's too far away, so we'll abandon that. Let's go back to Sebastian. Overtake, attack. See if he can do anything. That's going to be a no. Neutral, sorry, almost
Drop back a bit.
messed that up. Gasly's doing okay as it is, so I'll probably just leave Gasly in that DRS train to do his own thing, because no one's going to be able to overtake each other unless they get the mega run of a lifetime. So I'm just going to do this with Sebastian, just to try and get him ahead of Hülkenberg and Schumacher. A little bit of a tidbit of information for real life. The morning that I'm recording this, Mick Schumacher is going to be racing his last race for Haas, this next race, last race of the season at Abu Dhabi. So he will be, unless I think majority of the seats are already taken up already, so Mick Schumacher next year, I don't think he's going to be in Formula One, unfortunately. It's a shame. A lot of people wanted to see him do well, but unfortunately, the problem is the peer pressure that comes with having that particular surname. If you don't perform to what you need to do, the fullbacks are going to be a lot more harsher than everything else. As Vettel has just overtaken Schumacher.
Taking a look again.
Schumacher went a little bit wide to try and get round Hülkenberg, and Sebastian just saw a gap and nipped down the inside and took that position from him. So now both him and Schumacher have got DRS on Hülkenberg either side. Schumacher gets past both, and Vettel is still fighting Hülkenberg here. Hülkenberg is obviously going to let Schumacher through, but make it difficult for us. So now, as Vettel as he tries to swing it around the outside. We're going to go attack and overtake. Both Hulkenberg and Vettel are going to get DRS off of Schumacher. Vettel gets ahead of the Hulk. And Sebastian fakes to the left, goes to the right. And that is a slam dunk round the outside and pulls Hulkenberg with him.
Aston Martin with a great play there. They've moved
And that is Sebastian up into P16. So he's making the gains he needs. Now just need him on those soft tyres to pull away from Hulkenberg. Meanwhile, Gasly still holding station behind Magnussen. Everyone from Hamilton down to Norris is still within 1 second of each other, so they're all getting the DRS. Speaking of which, Hamilton is actually leading the French Grand Prix at the moment ahead of Perez. Sainz is still holding on to third, keeping Verstappen at bay, as now Perez goes for the move down the inside of Hamilton and gets him before they even get to turn 1. So this DRS train is definitely going to be a thing now. And Hulkenberg has just overtaken Sebastian with DRS. So Sebastian got involved in that turn 1 scrap with Alonso, and unfortunately this is more than likely where he's going to be finishing this race. He's damaged his tyres as well in the process of doing that. So overtake attack when you get him back in front of Hulkenberg. So see what he does. He's going to pull out, and predictably he's not going to pull out far enough to make the move. What a surprise. Yeah, a few things this game needs to do for updates or the next game is make it so the overtaking is actually more fluent and realistic. When they actually have the DRS, they actually go for the overtake rather than just sit behind like a lemon. So now Magnussen is starting to drop away from Russell a little bit, so let's see if we can take advantage of this. And Gasly is just going to pull out because all he's going to do is just defend from Norris instead of attacking Magnussen, which is what I need him to do. So I'm probably going to... oh no, Russell's starting to fall back a little bit from this front pack. So we're going to be... a little bit closer to Magnussen. I don't think it's really going to make that much of a difference. Yeah, Gasly won't get in the slipstream of Magnussen because he's too busy focusing on Norris behind, which is not what I need him to be doing. I need him to be looking at that Haas in front of him and going for the move on him, but the way it is, we've still got a ways to go before the pit stops, so I'm going to cut away from the action. I'm going to let these guys do what they need to do and see how well see where we stand later on in the race.
Let's have a look. Now,
We just skipped ahead a little while, and Hamilton locked up and went wide while fighting for the lead, and that has dropped him way down the field. So Gasly's got a free position out of that, as Hamilton's now rejoined behind Norris. So the way things are right now, Norris has actually dropped back a little bit, so I don't know where his pace has gone.
Aston Martin with a great play there. They've moved up.
Vettel's re-overtaken Hulkenberg. Gas has just set the fastest laps, so the pace is slowly starting to come to Gasly now. And he's still part of a top 7 fight, which is actually technically for the lead still. And that includes the 2 Ferraris, the 2 Red Bulls, Russell, Magnussen and Gasly. But this is putting... Sainz is actually back into the lead. So this is actually putting Sainz and Russell in a favourable position, because they started on the hard tyres, remember. So they're going to be in prime position here. Hulkenberg re-overtakes Sebastian again. So unless a safety car comes out, I'm pretty sure Sebastian's not getting back into this race. So he's going to be fighting Hulkenberg and well, it's just Hulkenberg at the moment because Schumacher's dropped away. So here comes Vettel again down the inside into the chicane. This is going to get ahead. Probably not. Hulkenberg's going to fight this most likely, and he's going to have the inside line for the next corner. Hulkenberg's going to pull just enough ahead because he's got better drag reduction. Yep, there you go. So Vettel's going to be stuck fighting his fellow compatriot for the rest of the race unless the pit stops change that, which they may very well do because I'll need to bring Sebastian in a bit earlier than normal. Meanwhile, Gasly was a little bit late to respond there, but he was up behind Magnussen on that run, so we'll stick with him. Magnussen's actually dropped away a little bit from Russell, so this may actually play towards Gasly's favour if he can get himself a decent run through here. So we're going to go attack and on to overtake.
Yep.
Fortunately, Magnussen's just pulled close enough to Russell where he's going to get a tow from him, unfortunately. DRS opens. Come on, Gasly. He's looking. I don't think he's going to get it, though. No. Is he going to go for the dive? He is going to go for the dive. He thought about the dive there. Gasly.
Doing a good job. Keep pushing.
He didn't quite get far enough alongside to make that move stick, unfortunately. That's cost him a little bit of time now as well, so he's going to have to recompose himself and try again. And now we're going to skip. A little ways ahead to the pit stop window, and hopefully, yeah, we'll skip ahead to the next pit window and see hopefully how well Gasly gets on later on. Okay, we've just entered Gasly's pit window. Unfortunately, the tyre wear has caught up because Gasly has now dropped 2.5 seconds behind Magnussen, which is not ideal in the long run. So we've now got 3 laps until we actually come in for the pit stop now. And Vettel is still fighting Hulkenberg, but his tyres have dropped off massively, so I'm going to have to bring Vettel in now. I'm going to have to bring Vettel in now, and I'm going to have to try and make him stretch his hard tyres longer, which I don't really want to do, but it's the only way it's going to make the one stop work. So forget saving these tyres. We're going to put Sebastian on attack, and we're going to get him on overtake because we want to get him past Hulkenberg. Joe dropped back a little bit as well because he locked up earlier on in the race. As Sebastian makes the move on Hulkenberg down the inside, easy as you like. I'm going to leave him on attack now because he's going to bring. We're going to bring these tyres in. Actually, it might help if I actually opened up the pit options and actually did that. So, get him on the hard tyres. Pit this lap.
Looks like Aston Martin have just gained a race position.
So Sebastian's going to be in this lap. Gasly, meanwhile, we're going to try and keep him going for as long as possible. But yeah, he's out of that contention for these. He's out of contention for these positions. I may bring him in a lap early, actually, to try and get an undercut going. Keep going for this lap, and then on the next lap, I'll stick him on all-out attack and get him... And Sebastian, why are you not pitting? I told you to pit.
Box.
Sebastian's going for one lap longer than what he should have done. Even though I gave him enough time to... Never mind. Gasly, what's happened? Wait a minute, Gasly's just dropped to 4.4. What happened? What happened there? Why has Gasly dropped to 4.4? He was only 2.8. Why has the game done this? This game, I swear, there's been no notification of a lock-up or nothing. But the game's just decided, actually, yeah, I'm just going to take 2 seconds off you, make your life a little bit more difficult. Right. So now, Gasly's going to cross the line. That will tick over. Right. We're going to go on here. We're going to attack. And then we're going to go pit options. Hard tyres, pit this lap.
Just do what you can.
Right. Please come in this time, Sebastian. Thank you. Right, Sebastian's in this lap. So he's going to go on to the hard tyres and hopefully getting a decent undercut on Hulkenberg. Because he's going to be on warm hard tyres for a little bit. Meanwhile, up the front, Sainz is still leading Leclerc. Leclerc's going to get past, though, ahead of Verstappen, Perez, Russell and Magnussen. We're just losing time hand over fist because our tyres are dead. So bring Gasly in now is probably the better, definitely the right call. Well, Sebastian, he comes out of the pits now on his hard tyres. So now, put him back on standard because I want these tyres to last.
Back off. Copy.
Now, Gasly. We'll follow these guys round. So, Gasly, that's getting back onto standard just before he comes into the pits.
Yeah, in the box.
Copy that.
And Leclerc and Magnussen have also pitted, so we're not getting an undercut on Magnussen, which is not what I wanted to see. Hamilton, Norris and Ocon are also in. So they're feeling the tyre just as much as we are. They're feeling the tyre wear, just as much as we are. So Gasly, clean in, clean out. So now we're going to be down P10. Hulkenberg's going to get past us, unfortunately, but he's going to be coming in soon. So it doesn't really matter too much in the grand scheme of things. He's 1.1 ahead, but he's on worn hard tyres, so it doesn't. We shouldn't have a problem catching him. Right, later on, we're on lap 28 now, and this fighting that Magnussen's a part of with these guys on the hard tyres has allowed Gasly to catch back up to him. So this has actually worked out very well for us. Because now we've got Stroll and Ricciardo still going side by side ahead. And then Magnussen's just behind them, and then we've got only just Albon in between us and Magnussen. But these guys should be coming in soon. If not this lap, then the next lap. So we're just going to stick with this lot now and see what happens if they pull into the pits or not. Which they do not, so we're going to have to make some moves here.
Copy.
Just need Gasly to get a move on here, which he does splendidly as he gets past Albon. up into P9. Magnussen, however, gets ahead of Stroll. At the same time. And it looks as though he's already... No, he's not quite going to have a look at Riccardo just yet. You know, aggressive and overtake again.
We can push more.
Yeah.
Stroll and Riccardo, they're really struggling, having started on those hard tyres. So now, Gasly, thanks to the left, goes to the right. And he's going to make his move around the outside of Lance Stroll before they even get to the corner. And Gasly's actually pulled alongside Magnussen in the process. So this is going to give us a position over Magnussen, hopefully. Side by side.
Good job.
Fortunately, Max he just has better run and just cuts ahead of us. Gasly tried to poke his nose down the inside of the fast right-hander, but now as we go into this section here, whoops, as we go through this section, up towards the last corner, does Riccardo come into the pits? No, he does not, but Magnussen's already pulled himself alongside in the overtake mode.
Okay.
As Magnussen now gets ahead of Riccardo. And we are going to do the same thing, but we've lost all the battery in the process doing it. But we are now back with Kevin Magnussen. We're back to where we started, so that's actually helped us out a great deal there, getting caught up with those guys. So now, I can actually take it easy with Gasly. He's in the DRS of Magnussen, so I don't need him to do anything. In the meantime, Vettel's caught up to Zhou, who's been stuck with Alonso. Fighting, with Schumacher and Alonso. Alonso's already gotten past them. So now, Sebastian thinks about a move. He makes a move down the inside. It's going to be 3 wide through this section. Zhou's going to get the better deal of that one. But Gasly's overtaken Magnussen. Gasly overtook Magnussen of his own accord there. With DRS down the inside. And up into P7, I believe that is. So.
Goodness me, there they go.
Magnussen may probably have gotten past him, but here goes Vettel.
That's it.
With ERS down the inside of Guan Yu Zhou.
Great play there. They've moved up a place.
As he gets Vettel gets past Schumacher, but he's not going to get Zhou, unfortunately. So now, Zhou, Alonso and Vettel are right together all the way down the back of the grid through their mistakes.
Okay.
Gasly, meanwhile, again with no ERS, he's pretty much a sitting target, unfortunately.
Let's focus.
For Magnussen.
Pass with an overtake there.
Hulkenberg's done his job there because I kind of had to use that ERS to get away from... I kind of had to use the ERS I had to get away from Hulkenberg because I didn't want to end up fighting him and costing myself any more time than I already had. So we're going to have to do this with Pierre down the straight. Harvest while in the slipstream of Magnussen. Vettel overtakes Alonso, so a lot of stuff's happening. So Zhou got past Alonso and then Vettel followed through on the pit straight. So I'm going to cut away for a little bit, guys, and come back later on towards the end of the race and we'll see where everything all pans out later on. And we just had a notification come up. Magnussen, while trying to defend from Gasly, locked up at the chicane and went straight on. So that's given us a little bit of breathing room from having to fight Kevin Magnussen. But I have to keep in mind as well that in the background, Lewis Hamilton is lurking. despite having locked up twice, he's still very much a threat. So we're going to keep going to the best of our ability and see where we sit later on in this race.
Have a look.
It's all happening now towards the end of the race. Perez, while fighting for the lead, spins around directly in front of Charles Leclerc and gives Max Verstappen some much needed breathing room there. Almost cheeky, like art imitating real life there. So Leclerc, 2.1 behind Verstappen, who's got a little bit of breathing room now. But with 11 laps to go, as you can see in the background behind Perez, Sainz and Russell on their medium tyres have been going like crazy to catch up to them, and they are catching them. And Russell goes for a move around the outside of the Ferrari and makes it up into P4. So, this is going to be an interesting run to the line for these guys. Meanwhile, Sebastian is embroiled in this fight with Joe and Albon for 12th place, back where he started. And oh no!
We can take a look now. So this was the Aston
I just saw that happen. Yellow flag is set to 2, and again, and this wasn't even Sebastian's fault. That wasn't even Sebastian's fault. That was completely on Joe.
Will they be able to recover? We'll see.
And there's a... Whoa, hang on a minute. Is that a safety car or a VSC? It's a VSC. Okay, right, never mind. Yeah, that wasn't even Vettel's fault. That was Joe. Stopped and completely took Sebastian out there. Oh, that is gutting for Sebastian. This guy, this poor guy here for the last 2 races has not been able to catch a single break. Right, a little bit of an update on that 47. Charles Leclerc has caught back up to Max Verstappen. Defending champion is looking for a move into the chicane down the inside. And he gets the move done. Charles Leclerc retakes the lead of the French Grand Prix. Verstappen's going to fight him back though. Know how quick that Red Bull is in a straight line. Meanwhile, in the background, Perez has now been caught by Russell and Sainz. So Russell and Sainz need to dispatch this Red Bull and then start getting up to the back of Verstappen. But Perez, if he's going to play the team game, unlike his teammate in real life, he's going to try and hold these guys back for a couple of laps, because Verstappen's currently 4.5 seconds ahead of Sergio on the road. And the last thing Verstappen needs is 2 Ferraris and a Mercedes breathing down his neck. So Perez is going to have to do everything in his power to hold these guys back. He may be able to hold George back, but what about Carlos with DRS? Here comes Carlos. And Perez immediately chops Carlos off. But it's not going to matter. Carlos is going to stick it around the outside of turn 1 into turn 2, and that's going to allow George Russell through as well. So Perez, his over-aggressive driving may have just cost him that one there, as he tried to chop off Sainz. They just both swept round the outside of him anyway. Meanwhile, Gasly is slowly being caught by both Magnussen and Hamilton. But hopefully, if Hamilton and Magnussen just keep fighting each other, that won't affect Gasly too much. With 5 laps to go. Vettel, meanwhile, unfortunately, and inevitably, dropped behind Hülkenberg and Ricciardo, running medium and soft tyres respectively. But if Vettel could just stick with them in the DRS for a little bit and see if we can make some late moves on the last lap, that could work to our favour. Unfortunately for Gasly, Magnussen and Hamilton are closing in. It's now down to 1.2. So we'll skip ahead to the last few laps and see if we can hold on to this P6. Right, on to the penultimate lap now. Magnussen and Hamilton are still fighting each other, but they are within 1 second of Gasly. So I have to keep that in mind here, especially as Gasly has little to no ERS to protect himself with at this time. Meanwhile, Vettel is down to 29% on his hard tyres, but he's still sticking with Hulkenberg and Ricciardo. So he's really making a go of this, Sebastian. As we go through the final corner, let's get him on overtake. I'm not going to go too crazy on his tyres for obvious reasons. He's a little bit too far back, though, from not being in the slipstream. Meanwhile, Gasly has now got Magnussen and Hamilton right behind him. So this is going to be... I'm going to have to focus on Pierre for this one, because this is going to have to be a defensive drive and a half if he wants to keep these two behind him. As Hamilton goes down the inside of Magnussen through that long right-hander, and he actually makes it stick as well. Charles Leclerc begins the last lap, but Vettel has just overtaken him across the line. Perez just seems to have done enough because Russell's not catching. He's still only 4.2 behind. He's still 4.2 behind Leclerc at this moment in time. Now back to neutral. And Magnussen, Magnussen just came down the inside of us, getting both Gasly and Lewis. So we just need to focus a little bit here. Going to keep Gasly on aggressive and then wait for the moment. Attack, overtake. We just need Gasly to get just back in front of Magnussen here. Don't have to worry about the tyres for this bit. Fake to the left, go to the right again. Gasly's been a massive fan of that move, and he has done it. So now we're going to deploy. Nope, we're going to put him on neutral. We need to save as much ERS for that final straight. We're going to keep him on attack. Meanwhile, Sebastian, we're going to do the same. We're going to go attack, full overtake. Meanwhile, Gasly has just done thing. Meanwhile, Leclerc has just won. He's overtaken. He overtook Leclerc he overtook Verstappen. Sorry, at the line. Meanwhile,
Rears are hot.
we know the rears are hot, mate, but we're just doing what we need to do. As we go to deploy on the exit of the corner, just to give us that little bit of leeway. Gasly is going to get P6. Meanwhile, go to deploy for Sebastian as he looks around the outside of Ricciardo.
Well done. Good drive. Take the pickup.
Gasly get the P6. I don't think Vettel's going to be able to get Ricciardo here unless... No. Oh, no, he pushed too hard. No. The tyre wear caught up to him.
And that's the lockup.
Sebastian, again, I can't blame him for that one. I asked him to push on those warm tyres and the tyres just didn't... tyres just couldn't handle it, unfortunately. Sebastian's luck. Sebastian's luck is just not going his way so far. Nothing wrong with you, Sebastian. You did everything you could. It's just luck, mate. Just luck, unfortunately. But there are the final results. Charles Leclerc, right at the death of it, gets the win ahead of Max Verstappen, with George Russell taking the final podium ahead of Sainz, Perez, Gasly. Best of the rest in P6, ahead of Magnussen, Hamilton, Lando Norris and Esteban Ocon, rounding out the top 10. So the drivers, nothing changed apart from Russell getting ahead of Alonso and catching up to his teammate. Gasly still holding on to P5 in the championship, doing brilliantly, consistently scoring points. And in the constructors, again, no change. We still, Mercedes pull away from us, but that's a given. But we do gain on both McLaren and Alpine, so that's a definite bonus for us. And Haas, with their finish for Magnussen, closing on AlphaTauri. So we got some spicy competition going in the second half of the standings for the constructors. So we did everything we could. Sebastian, again, just not getting the luck, unfortunately. We get a development point for Jack Doohan. Yeah, Sebastian just not getting the luck these last two races, unfortunately. He did score points in Austria, but that was a generally chaotic race as it was. But, yeah, this race, locking up and hitting Fernando Alonso didn't help his chances, but he did catch up to... he did catch back up to where he started on the grid, but then Zhou tagged him and put him back into the clutches of Hulkenberg and Riccardo. And, yeah, they just asking Sebastian to push as hard as he did on those worn tyres. That lock-up at the end was just inevitable, unfortunately. So, not much we can do with that one. But we still scored some decent points with Gasly. And maintain our position in both for him in the drivers and us in the constructors, best of the rest. So we're still doing a really, really good job in this coming up to the midpoint of the season. So I can't complain with that. We did have a little bit of improvement in terms of the straight line with the drag reductions, so they worked. But the acceleration is still where we're lacking at the moment. We're not getting that drive off the corner to stick with the car in front, but it's still a definite improvement. We've just got to wait until we've only got this one race here, and then Belgium, the Belgian Grand Prix 3 weeks after that. But that gives, but that's when the aerodynamic period reopens again. So that's going to be an added bonus. So we've only got to go these last two races before we can do some more design upgrades to help try and maintain our position ahead of Alpine. So for now, guys, if you did enjoy this episode, do feel free to leave a like and a comment and share this video. It really does help. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss another video. I'm David Clayton with KZR Racing, and we'll see you next time for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Goodbye.